Hello, everybody, and welcome to Toffee Bluecast match reaction. I feel like people are going to have plenty to say, so please do get involved in the comments. Me and Paul will give our reaction to the game, but we massively put your reaction as well on the screen and interact with you throughout the show. The score was Everton 0, Manchester United 1. And I'm interested to see what you've got to say about this, Paul, to be fair, because we'll both have our own little things that we think about it.
Yeah. I'm more annoyed at us than them or the ref. I just think we can defend so well and we just shoot ourselves in the foot. You know, when it comes to actually doing what we need to do, passing it, into key areas and just making that final pass count or creating that bit of space and make it count, we cannot do it. We cannot do it. And it's not just strikers, although that's a big part of it. Just when we are going into that final third, whether we're not finding the space properly or the pass is too slow or it's the wrong choice, it just breaks down and eventually we push forward and then we get hit. And we got hit hard with that breakaway. And it's so frustrating. So frustrating.
I mean, I think the first question to ask, and we'll break things down, but to break it down in a good order, we'll ask you now in the comments, what did you think of the lineup? Paul, let me know, and in the comments we'll chuck it on. What was your thoughts when the lineup come out?
I was surprised by the Ghana being right back. I didn't think that was a bad thing, particularly during the game, and I was torn myself between putting Branthwaite at left back instead of Mykolenko. I can see why he did it, and he sort of got Keane involved in there as well. So, might not be first choice, but I can understand, reasoning. But Ghana Gay, I love him to bits, but it just broke down a lot when he had the ball and when he was trying to pass it forward for us. Rubenham did all right, but nothing amazing. I thought he just did enough. Dewsbury always working really hard, sometimes too hard, sometimes making the wrong choice. And I seemed all right, but maybe not his best that we've seen. Whether that's a little bit lack of confidence throughout the team, I'm not sure. Again, Barry tried hard, but nothing sticks. And it was just a frustrating evening. One of the highlights for me, apart from Pickford doing a decent job and a cracking save in the first half. I know Tarkowski cleared it off the line, but great saves from Pickford tonight, was George coming on. I thought he was one of the only people, when he got the ball, that would put the defenders on the back foot. I just wish he would have got to the line a few more times. But him coming on was a general shift in momentum. But we just couldn't create a clear enough opportunity.
Yeah, I've been putting your comments on the screen, and a few people saying that similar to you, Paul. I personally think that we need to stop playing players out of position. I think we've got enough players to play players in their correct position now. And playing Branthwaite on the left for me, and there was warnings, there was a warning because there was a moment just before they scored where he slipped over. He slipped over and he was running, and they looked like we was really high up on the halfway line, and you can tell with the Brazilian and the other lad that they had, that Sesko, that there were counter tackles. You could tell. You do not want Tarkowski and Keane on the halfway line running back to out sprint someone. It's ridiculous. You've got to have Branthwaite as one of those players to come back and I'm watching. I can see the counter attack. What's his name? The Brazilian that they've signed, the one that did Maedon at the end of the game. Kuna. Yeah, Kuna. He's fast, and he's going to be fast on the counter attack. And if he's on a sprint with Tarkowski or Keane, which we left him on a sprint, Kuna slipped over, didn't he? There was a chance ball where he's through, and he just slipped over and lost his feet. And you thought, we're lucky then, because Branthwaite was coming back, but Branthwaite's coming back from the left back position, so he's nearly caught him up because he is fast. But me personally, I know for a fact Branthwaite's got to be the sweeper. Because then if there is one-on-one sprints like that, Branthwaite's your man that is on the one-on-one sprints and you feel comfortable. But you don't want Keane or Tarkowski on one-on-one sprints with Kuna. And you could see it coming. There was warnings. And I'm thinking to myself, we've got a world-class centre-back and we're playing him left-back that could be stopping what happened there, that counter-attack speed. And I'm just thinking, why is Branthwaite left-back? I know some people don't like Mykolenko, but he's played people in the right position for me. And I don't like that we played... It was the same with James Garner. There was a couple of... You mentioned it, Paul. I'm glad you said it because I've seen it as well. Garner Gage so many times was in good positions on the edge of the box, but you knew he wasn't the right man to do something. And you wish James Garner was in that position because you know you can shoot. The amount of shots that come out as well, clearances to Garner Gage to have a shot, and you think, do I really want him there? And I love Garner Gage, by the way. I love him. But if we're going to compete with top teams... We need probably James Garner and now in Garner Gage's position on that edge of the box where they can carve something in, put a player in, or have a shot and score. And it was too many times you see it going to Garner Gage and you're thinking he's got to nudge it to someone else because he can't do anything in that position. And a lot of players in the wrong positions for me today. And it's really frustrating. I feel we've thrown that away because I don't think Man United was that good tonight, Paul. I really don't. I think what you said was true. The moment we actually brought a player on to get at him, George, he did that cracking run, ran past him, got a free kick, then did another cracking run, drove on the counter-attack, had a shot down the middle, unfortunately. But it just makes you think, if you would have started with George on the left, what would have happened? Because they didn't look that good. And I love Armstrong, but he's a centre mid as well. Like, some people will be slating Armstrong, and I've seen it in the comments, told you Armstrong wasn't good enough. Well, he's played on the wrong position. He's not a winger that takes on players. He's a centre mid that's a good ball possession player. So don't jump on Armstrong there. Moyes played him in the wrong position and put him out to dry in my eyes. Like, he should be playing like in Garner Gage's position, maybe. And he'll be more dangerous.
Oh, yeah.
So it's
just...
without
doubt.
Moyes got it wrong for me. He did. Am I wrong? Do you think, from what you're saying, it's similar to what I'm thinking as well?
Yeah. I mean, there's a couple of bits there, and there's also there's bits for Moyes, and I know people are annoyed in the comments, and they're sort of saying, Moyes should maybe move on and blah 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 and all that sort of stuff. There's shared responsibility tonight. There were key moments. I mean, their goal came from Garner Gage trying to cross the ball from the right-hand side. Awful cross, easily cleared. They break, 3 passes, we're 1 down. Our crossing of the ball is not good. And you could see what they were trying to do at corners. They were trying to cause confusion. They were trying to cause a bit of anarchy in the area. But the crosses themselves are all floaty. So it's
and the keeper light coming out,
to be able to get it down, to be able to get something that's coming straight down, basically into the goal that's lower down, and you've got everyone around you. There's literally no space. The odds aren't great, to be fair. I thought their goalkeeper was really good. I thought he was really good
coming out.
Yeah, and I think
he wanted to come out and catch it.
Yeah, and I think that's probably one thing that maybe Pickford lacks, and that's not Pickford's fault. It's just, there's differences in goalkeepers. I thought Pickford played brilliant tonight. But for their lad, he dealt with the corners absolutely no issue, and he would come over all the defenders. We were just so on the line, and they were just floated in. And when it doesn't work for the 6th time, then, maybe try something different, try and create a little bit of something else, or make him think he's going to try and do one thing and then do something different. It just seemed like a lack of ideas and such a frustration in the fact that if we did get the ball in the area, the cross wasn't good enough, the movement wasn't good enough, and we had, well, as Eltel says, the joke forwards had no chances on goal. I think our best strike of the ball was George late on.
You know what? There was actually another chance, Paul. Like, It was just before their goal. And I do feel this is why Moyes leaves it, because before they scored, we did look a little bit on top. And I don't mean on top. We looked like we had Man United pinned back, but we didn't look like we knew what to do with having them pinned back. So we looked like we was on top
Yeah,
because we was in their half a lot. But we're in their half not knowing how to execute things, I think. But there was a chance where Armstrong went in and he cut and he had a shot, didn't he? And that was a good chance. And I think Moyes is thinking like, we might actually slip this 1-0. But sometimes just because the game's going okay and Everton look okay, like we might nick it 1-0 before they score, doesn't mean Moyes should be scared of actually bringing even better players on. And I feel that George should have come on earlier. Like, they brought players on at a certain time. I feel even 60th minute minimum or 55 minutes, we should have brought these players on, Paul, that people are crying out to see. Because I feel like when you're watching it, Paul, you can see we're on top, but you think if we had the players on the bench on, would we have been on top and scored? That's a difference. And I think we might have if we had George on earlier.
Yeah, and I mean, there's been some games where we've looked strong early on. I mean, Man United away, we look strong until Garner Gay gives Keane a slap around the face. There's a few players, including Garner Gay, I wouldn't mind slapping around the face myself tonight. So we know that we can do it. Our problem is changing that pressure and changing that high press and energy in the first sort of 15 minutes into goals. That's our general problem. I did think we were going to score after about 5 seconds when Barry jumped on the clearance from the keeper. I mean, that would have been a hell of a start. But I mean, even if we'd scored then, I don't think we would have created anything else during the game. So it's a constant frustration because it's not all on one entity. It's not all on Moyes, for my opinion. It's not all on Moyes. I think there's things that could be different. I think he could play players, like you say, in their best positions. I think he's trying to fit the better players in other positions and then the slightly weaker players in their best positions, just so he has the best 11 players on the pitch. And that's a matter of opinion who you think those are. But I just do think that we just lack that something to create a clear-cut chance. And that's lack of confidence, not accurate passing, poor crossing, poor movement by people who are running into the area. There's a whole host of things that do need work and do need consideration about who we have playing in the future.
Seen a lot of people angry with Garner Gay as well. We have mentioned it in there. Emma saying on Garner Gay. There's a few people that are saying Garner Gay should not be getting a full game there. And it's frustrating. You don't want to start hating on Garner Gay because when he come back, I was really happy and we needed a player like him. But I do feel that, as we've said on the show before, he's a player that should be coming on sometimes to see games out if we're leading. I honestly do believe James. Well, we wanted Garner Gay back and we love him, but he should be a backup to probably James Garner that should be able to play that position now. I think.
Yeah,
James
I mean
he can create.
Yeah, I mean, I think if it does look from the outside as though Moyes doesn't feel as though Armstrong or Irabunum are quite there yet to take over from Garner Gay or Roll even. I know, and there's lots of fans of Roll on here as well. Like you said, Eltel's one of them. So he obviously feels as though those people aren't as good as Garner Gay, but at some point, he never seems to sort of bring Garner Gay off either. He does bring him on he does keep him on for a very long time, and you sort of think, yeah, Garner Gay can put in a tackle, but we need more than just putting in a tackle at the moment. We actually need to create something, and I think if you've got, even if they're defensive midfielders, if they can create, if they can find diagonal balls, if they can sort of create space by getting past one player and then starting an attack, that's what you want. And I don't think we seem to do that with anyone. even our best players going forward aren't actually producing what we need. And it's not all on Barry, and it's not all on KDH, it's not all on Ndai or anyone else. It's a collective. And it's frustrating in the fact that we can win a game away, we come home and we lose a game. And then a game tonight, which could have gone either way. It really could have as well. I'll show you stats in a sec. I just think it's just another frustration. I mean, we go Newcastle, don't we? Soon, I think. And it's like us to go and win away at Newcastle, but produce what we've been producing at home as well.
I was just looking now, and Alcaraz wasn't on the bench, and he didn't mention Alcaraz injured. Do you think Alcaraz was not chosen through Moyes?
Not sure. Not sure. Like I say, nothing was said in the presser about Alcaraz, and a few people did wonder that. So
yeah, I was just thinking now, because I was just going to say to you, and I had to check on my phone. I was just going to say to you, like, do you know when Garner Gay's in those positions and we look comfortable, like we're getting in Man United's box a lot, and wouldn't you like to just drop Dewsbury all back into that Garner Gay position that can have a ping and a shot, and then put Alcaraz on in the 10, who can also be effective attacking like that? And I just looked, I thought Alcaraz was he on the bench to suggest that, but I'm thinking like, Garner Gay, if you take him off, he wasn't doing that much or needed that much. So I just think drop Dewsbury Hall back. And every time that ball comes on the edge of the back box to Dewsbury Hall, he'll either cut someone in, put someone in with his vision, or have a shot. He just would have been twice as effective as Garner Gay. And I feel like that's where we miss out sometimes. We're not clever like that, because I think this would have been a good game for Alcaraz to come on, because he's a shit house. And I think he would have probably popped up and scored somewhere or done something. And I just think it would give you that. Do you know what I mean, though, Paul? You go double attack by taking Garner Gay out, bringing Dewsbury deep that's still attacking, and bringing Alcaraz on that's attacking. It didn't need to be Alcaraz, but I just feel like that's a move that we could have made, and it's frustrating.
I just think we'd have far more mobility. These lads are experienced enough, to do what Garner Gay would do. I know, we can put our foot in. Sometimes it's a calm mind and all that, and we've spoken about sort of more experienced players and how they would prefer to slow the game down and things. But sometimes you do need someone running from deeper and bringing the ball forward. I tell you what, when Keane does it or Branthwaite does it, then it does create a little bit of a buzz in the crowd, and it makes the opposition think, oh, hang on, they've just come forward 30, 40 yards and we haven't challenged them or anything. It does kind of build it up going forward. And I think if you've got centre mids who can do that, and I think Dewsbury was one of them, then why not have him in that position? He's not so electric in the 10 that, we can't do without him in that position. As you say, Alcaraz is one that could go in that spot. And I just think we need a little bit more mobility. I think we need a little bit more support and nous going forward. And at the moment, we just don't seem to show it. And I know, Man U are in top 4 and everything else. We're not playing Burnley or Wolves, for example, at home, which we haven't done great at anyway. But they were there for the taking, I think. They're a good side. They're a strong side, but we should have got something from that game, I think.
It wasn't that good, and that's what frustrated me when Kuna was giving it large at the end. So I was thinking, you know what, we was crap, mate. You come up against a better team, you won't be doing what you did to us tonight. And we was crap. I was really disappointing, because we keep doing this. Bottling. That was a massive game for us. I'd love to have seen us say, you know what, Man U, we believe in ourselves. We've got something, and we're bringing it to you. And instead, I think we went really defensive and thought, we're going to try and sit back and nick 1-0. And I felt like Man United are not that good where you should respect them that much to sit back and try and nick a goal, because they didn't look that good when we actually got them at the end. And even that moment, it's going back to Garner Gay, but someone said it in the comments, which just made me think. They was talking about Garner Gay having the chances at the edge of the box, Paul. And there was a moment where Garner Gay had a shot, and it nearly hit Iliman and Jai, and they both laughed to each other. And I'm not laughing. I'm thinking, it was a big chance, because maybe with someone with a bit more craft there could have put Iliman and Jai in, or actually done a better shot than what Garner Gay did. And when these balls are, for a fact, like we've had so many goals scored against us, Tillemans, edge of the box, bang, straight in, top corner. We've had so many goals scored against us where we don't close them down, edge of the box, and we concede. And I want to be that team, Paul, where when it comes to a play on the edge of the box, we bang it in top corner. And I think Garner Gay had a few of those chances today and couldn't shoot. So I'd like to see someone different on the end of those shots because they are big chances. But we laugh at each other.
They're
It's not.
huge. They're very decent chances. I mean, the way that the ball is now compared to what it was, 20 years ago and everything else. I think I remember at one point phoning. I was trying to phone Radio Merseyside because we were talking. It was when I think Walter Smith was the manager, and we had Hutchinson and Kev, Super Kev was there as well. But we weren't. I think at that point we weren't actually shooting from outside the area. Every goal that we seemed to score was sort of in the 6-yard box, and we missed loads of opportunities. And I think I tried to phone in and say, why aren't we shooting from the edge of the box? And even more so now, it does not take a lot to score from the edge of the box anymore. The ball's lighter, especially on a night like tonight where it's wet, absolute skidding off the floor. Do you know what I mean? These are good chances, but we don't seem to be shooting very much. And if you sort of think about, the goal that Barry scores against Villa, I think Beto's had a couple of rebounds and things like that as well. These are opportunities, but we just seem not to be able to be quick enough to create the space to shoot. There was a few chances tonight where it would come from the right-hand side, come into the middle, and then it just needed a little layoff to the side and we could shoot. But we didn't. We held on to it too long, and then we had to go back again. And it's just so frustrating, really.
We do keep doing it, and it's like we've always got two players in the same position, seeming like they're stepping on each other's toes that can do the same thing instead of being one of those players actually make themselves dangerous. And I think that's where we struggle with fullbacks. And I think Mikalenko should have played today if he's fit. I really do. As much as I do think Branthwaite's that good, you want him in, you've got to drop Tarkowski or Michael Keane, one of them, and put Branthwaite in for me. You have to. And that's what you've got to do. And because your wingers will be twice as more effective if they are getting overlapped. And whether Mikalenko overlaps and does crap crosses or not, at least he's overlapping, making these wingers cut in a bit more and be more dangerous. We wasn't seeing no overlaps today or anything like that. So we do miss Grealish. You're right. I've seen that. We do. I told people this. Some people said Grealish was slowing things down. Grealish would have been cracking in that game today, and we do massively miss him. But I've seen Danny in the comments talking about Tyler Diblin. Now, I have seen Tyler Diblin given a start. He hasn't had as many chances. I will agree with you there, but he hasn't looked world beaten when he's played, Tyler Diblin. But for me, George, I'm more peed off that he didn't play. Some people have really frustrated Paul that Tyler Diblin isn't playing. I understand a little bit why you don't get to play a little bit because you don't track back a little bit. But I get the frustration. What's your thoughts on that? Because that's coming up in the comments a lot. Tyler Diblin should be playing. And people are that angry with it that they're even saying Moyes out now in the comments I'm seeing. So two things, Paul. Firstly, what do you think on the Tyler Diblin situation? And secondly, what do you think on Moyes out? Do you think that's too much for you, or people are within what they want to say? They can say what they want to say.
People are upset, and they've got their some of the say slightly older, because it's not that long really since he was with us last time. Some people are sort of seeing some similarities in what there was before, taking too long to do this or being too defensive, or sort of fine margins was a phrase that someone in the comments used as well. So I understand their frustrations. In terms of getting rid of a manager at this point, I still don't think that is the answer, personally. There's things that I think he could do different. I think he's more flexible now than he used to be, which might sound crazy to some people, but compared to what it was, I think he's learned a little bit. It's not the same 11 all the time, and he has tried one or two things. It's just at the moment they haven't worked, and I think a lot of it does go on the players. I do agree with what you're saying. I think he should play people in their positions. but you've also got some young players who could develop into a few different positions. So there's I'm not in the Moyes out camp at all.
Do you know where
Anywhere
you
near
just said like?
the point.
Do you know where you've just said a lot of it's on the players, right? It's for me the players that was ineffective was the players that was out of position, and I can't say it's on the players sometimes when Moyes has got them in the wrong position. Like you think everything that was bad today, a lot of it was because probably Brantford was left back and he should have been centre back. Garnegay was playing, probably shouldn't have been playing. Moyes probably should have picked someone else. And on one wing, Armstrong was on the wing. He's not one that goes and skins players, and George should have been playing as well. So is that on the players? Like sometimes you look at the players that can only do what they can do when they're set up wrong.
Yeah, that's what I mean. With some players, it's more Moyes than the actual players. But when you're lads who are playing generally in their supposed positions and not delivering, then that's on them. I think Branthwaite playing left back wasn't a bad choice, personally. I think Tarkowski was done for pace 80 yards up the pitch. I don't think Keane did particularly badly. I thought we defended fairly well overall. I think we were just buggered by one sort of breakaway or a couple of breakaways, and it shows our lack of pace maybe in the middle. But when you're having inside lefts being asked to play wide, or inside rights being asked to play wide right, it's not what we've got. We filled the middle of the pitch. We weren't aiming for people to be out wide to particularly, get their heels on the line and everything else. I think when we were one down, I think it was a case of shifting that very quickly I think he should have got George on a lot quicker. I think, and I still believe can be a 10 instead of on the right. I think that would allow Diblin to be involved. And when we did our show last night, there was a lot of sort of comments and conversation about Diblin, about how much we've spent and everything else. We don't know what's in the background. We don't know what it's like in training. But if you've got a young lad who has supposedly got this potential and has got energy and has got pace, which he has got it, although he hasn't shown it as yet. Then you've got attacking options wide left and wide right, and then someone who was arguably one of the best players in the AFCON in behind your striker. And even Barry would benefit from Ndai being closer to him. So I do just think that there's a few tweaks that we could do that would just make things a lot better. But whether he does them or not, I don't know.
Yeah, with Diblin, and Diblin is popping up in the comments, and I'm just put your comments on the screen. She says, "I'm fed up of hearing he's a quiet lad." I don't just think it's that Diblin was quiet though. When he did play, we all wanted him to just like light things up when Njai was gone, and he didn't. He just kind of was a ghost in some games and didn't do what I thought he was doing. He ran into players a lot. He didn't take his chance, and that's why I'm not jumping on the Diblin thing massively. But George just looked good, and that frustrated me that he was on the bench because he looked like he would run at you like he did when he come on, and he looked dangerous, and he looked like he could do something different that you need. He looked unpredictable, and I think that we're a very predictable team sometimes. Even in Jai, he's normally like unpredictable, but I don't know what happened with him today. And I think we needed a few players on Paul today where that was willing to risk something to do something different, because you could often look at the game and see what was going to happen. And we needed someone that was like, oh, what a ball. Where's that come from? Or, oh, what a cut through. We needed some players to try something different. And all these players that people are talking about, I can see why you're saying Diblin, because from what he's supposed to be but hasn't shown yet, maybe he could have took a player on or carved something up. I don't know. But Moyes just seems to have a lot of safe players on the pitch for me. A lot of safe players. And where we could be... Man United is so comfortable, and you think to yourself, with the players that we've got, and Jai, Diblin, George, they shouldn't be comfortable. You look at them, Kuna, who's looking a threat, and you think we've got players that could be a threat, but when they're on your bench, it's hard to side up for Moyes on that. Moyes could. We don't know how ambitious these new owners are, the freaking group. They might say we've brought in enough players for Moyes to get this Europa League spot. and he might be under pressure because sometimes you can tell he's really going for Europa League this season. The owners have backed Moyes. They've got Jack Grealish, obviously injured, gutted about that, but they did go and get George after that. They spent a lot of money on Diblin, so they did back Moyes on that one. Armstrong back, decent player. They have brought players, haven't they, Paul? Alcaraz we've got as well. We should be better than this.
Oh,
Merlin Roll as well, Asnu as well.
I think we've got a better squad now than we've had for bloody hell a good few years. You know, we put up. I mean, we're putting up with one or two players still at the moment, but you know, putting up with again going forward with bless him Decore, you know, and Beto as your strike force. And yes, there were nice moments and stuff, but generally week in, week out, it was more frustrating than it is now. Believe me, it was. It is more frustrating back then than it is now, and that feels absolutely crazy. But I just think, I mean, we say it week in, week out. It's a fear of failure now, whether that comes from the player or from the manager. They're not willing to make a mistake. You know, and I get this, you know, ball retention, don't give the ball away. But I tell you what, I'd much rather see George and Diblin trying to get to the line or cut inside and lose the ball 4 times out of 5. But the 5th time, they create an absolute great chance on goal. You know what I mean? I'd much rather us give it a go each time. I'm not saying gung-ho from first minute, everything else. Yeah, you got to do game management. I understand that. But certainly when you're chasing a game, how George came on for his time on the pitch tonight is really what I would be expecting attacking players to do. That's what I'd want Ndai to do, George to do, Diblin to do, and actually get to the line, create chances for crosses, and then it's the people in the area who've got to move well, and then we create chances from that. But there is an innate fear of failure that always sticks with them.
What also frustrates me is we are going long ball a little bit again. A lot I've noticed we're going long ball, always trying to hoof the ball into Barry, and I feel that we're a better side than we used to be. We shouldn't be long ball. I think we've got good football players like Merlin Roll. He looks technical. Armstrong, technical player, can keep the ball. James Garner, technical player that can keep the ball. Dewsbury, all very technical, can keep the ball. Lilliman and Jai, technical, can keep the ball. So you do think to yourself, when you watch us, why have we got 11 players that can do 1-2s, quick passes, carve things out, and they don't look like they know each other or play with each other in training? There's no like connection, no triangles, just some fast forward passing, 1, 2, 3, know each other, know each other's runs. They look like 11 players on the pitch that have got their own little ability but don't connect, and that's what frustrates me. Like you don't like. Do you know where you look? There was a good link up with Dewsbury Hall and Jack Grealish. That was the connection that I wanted to see, because that was when those two was close to each other. They looked like they could do what's around them because they look good and creative. And Dewsbury Hall hasn't got that with anyone now, and that's why I say I'm gutted. Jack Grealish is injured, and there's no connection. That's the perfect example in my head, Paul, though, is the way Dewsbury Hall and Jack Grealish used to connect. And we've not got that with no players on the pitch. And I think that's what can get you chances.
Definitely. And we've said it before in terms of relationships. There's lots of people are sort of saying keeping a settled side and not changing very much. You know, why didn't the team, when we won away at Forest, why wasn't that the team against Brentford? When we won away against Villa, why wasn't that the one for the next game after that? they've got a point, because you're never going to get that kind of relationship that we've seen with players in the past, whether it be 2 centre mids or a left back and a left mid, whoever it be. You're not going to get that relationship unless they're playing with each other, you know, on a consistent basis. That's why sometimes it worked with, I remember Alcaraz and Beto way at Palace, you know, and then again it happened again in another game, and I can't remember which one it was, but there's a potential link there. But then if you're not playing one without the other, then you can't generate it, you can't keep it going. So the lads who are on the pitch tonight, have they got links together? You presume Garner and Garner haven't got that, because he moved James Garner to right back. And surely the centre of the pitch is where you want your strongest relationship. Potentially, no? So Frustrating,
very risky.
it really is.
Like you say, like you said, it's very hard to find something that works. And if you're saying James Garner is, I mean, I did have him right back in my lineup. Actually, I didn't. I put Patterson there because I didn't want to have him right back. So yeah, I thought
There's
about
lots
it,
of people
and
who
I
did,
thought
though.
what I did
Understand. I
think to
understand,
myself,
but
yeah, there was a lot, but what I did think to myself, Paul, is I thought if Garner makes us good in midfield, why would you take that away? That's what I thought to myself. If he and why would you lose that? Because we're not that much of a good football team that we could just literally say, right, let's put Garner right back and play Irabuna and he'll do the same job. He doesn't. You lose loads from that.
yeah.
Because Irabuna for me shouldn't have even been playing. And he
The
did work
thing
hard, he closed the space, but
yeah,
I don't think it was the right thing when I saw him on, Paul, because he's not that creative either. It's too. You're looking at Irabunam and Garner Gay. You've got two midfielders there that you don't feel like can score or are going to cut a pass through or got the vision.
No, they're stoppers. They're stoppers. You know, I think we said it last night. If one or two people had Irabunam in for physicality, and I can understand that, but in terms of, do you take something away from your attacking ability? These are the general stats from tonight, and it highlights again was not having the best first half and then waking up in the second half or after the hour.
By the way, before Paul shows his stats, if you can, there's been plenty on tonight, loads in the comments. If you can hit that like, it's appreciated. Well, the channel is doing okay, but we need it to push. I mean, we're at a standstill on the subscribers now. We should be hitting 10K. We started. What are we on now, Paul? 6,000. We've been on that for a while.
6,000
before we started this season. Yeah.
30, I think, something like that.
You've got to be liking and pushing it out for us, people.
Yeah, you're all a good bunch in here. We've got our little blue therapy family, haven't we? So we do like everyone being here, to be fair. These are the stats from the first half. And I think I think we said it with Andrew last night. I think I pointed out I expect them to have the possession. That's certainly what it was first half. I don't think either side were... they certainly didn't have big chances for a start-off. A couple of saves, one from either side. I mean, we threw in a load of tackles. You know, they didn't have to as much. They did get quite a few shots on goal that first half. Don't want therapy. You have to, Liam. You've got to have therapy.
Liam, probably still. I don't want. To be fair, Liam, I feel your pain. I'm that peed off. I don't even know what to do sometimes. Well, it's not even therapy like we're going to make you feel like we don't feel like we need to make you feel better. We just all come on here and just act stressed together and then go off and probably still be stressed a little bit. But at least we're stressed together. What do they say? A problem shared is a problem halved. And we've got a lot of you lot in the comments now. So
very well shared. Well, this is the stats from the second half. So that's how it changes. Obviously, it changes more positively for us. And their keeper had to pull out a few saves. As I say, well done, Pickford, in
good save on the one-on-one
at the end, and one in the first half as well. So that was key. And you can tell, we had shots, but they weren't great chances, were they? There was no sort of... We're not having a go at anyone for missing an absolute sitter tonight, are we? And that feels unusual. But it also shows that we didn't create clear-cut chances. And again, if you're an expected goals fan, then you can see that neither side really should have been scoring more than they actually did.
That's why I said we do long ball a lot, and I don't think we attack fast enough. And I think everything's long ball because they've got all the players back, and you force to whip across in, and it's just frustrating because Barry isn't the biggest man in the world for that sort of stuff. He wants the ball behind the players, like Man United scored for Kuna. He wants that one-on-one sprint. When Barry got injured, he ran past the player, and that's how he wants it, just a nick past the player. When he got taken out, it was a good little turn from him. He took out and he went. And that's what Barry wants. He wants you just to put it behind Maguire and test him for the speed. But we never did that, We never put it behind Maguire or Yoro to test him. Not a nice through ball the whole game to try and catch him out. And it just frustrates me. It really frustrates me that we can't do that. And my missus said to me, Paul, when she's watching the game, the commentators goes, this is Manchester United's first corner. And she goes, they've only had one corner. I goes, yeah, they ain't even been that good. Like
No.
they generally, that's what frustrates me. They generally wasn't that good, and Kuna giving it large at the end. We beat you with 10 men. Calm down, mate, at your own ground. You know what I mean? So don't give it too large, Kuna. I know we're the best team in the league, and you're just so happy you beat us, but calm down. That's just too much. That was. Tarkowski was on a yellow, and I was worried because I would have wanted to knock him out if he did that. To be fair.
Yeah. Yeah, he did. He really did want a piece of him, and I understand.
Yeah.
What you're saying about your Yoro as well, young lad, susceptible, did make a couple of little errors, and we got corners from them.
He
That's where
looked
you put
vulnerable.
your pressure. It's where you put your pressure. Yeah, he's vulnerable, and he's gonna be, and he was properly being wound up, but we didn't take advantage of that. That was just a missed opportunity. These do you want to see the player ratings? It'd be interesting.
You know when
Brought to
we
you.
had Jack Grealish, Paul, sometimes like do you know when people moaned he slowed things down? He slowed things down in their box where he had time to actually just drop it to someone to shoot in a good position. I don't feel like we could do that today. That's what you miss from him. Do you know where like we're whipping balls in that ain't that good? And I'd love someone to just do you know where Mikalenko took that player on the other game and the game that he played bad, but he come back, he took a player on, and then he just dropped it into Dewsbury Hall, and it was the perfect pass. We didn't get into that Mikalenko position the other game, did we? Where you take the defender on, and everyone's in trouble out of position, and you Everton players, you look up and you have a player on to score an easy shot. I don't think we got into the right areas, did we?
There was one time second half, Branthwaite played the ball in to it might have been Dewsbury Hall, who then had a shot, but Branthwaite had carried on his run, and if he'd slipped him in, he would have been in the 6-yard box. It was just little things like that, key moments, key passes, and things like that. These are the player ratings brought to you tonight by SofaScore. They actually gave Pickford man of the match, which is surprising. I would have gave their goalkeeper man of the match, to be honest. I think he kept them in it.
Catching the ball, yeah. Really good.
Yeah.
Well, Pickford did save a one-on-one, didn't he? But
he did.
Their
he did.
Didn't really have to do that much. Like you say, he was good because I feel like we was putting long balls in and it was ineffective because he loves coming out and catching the ball. They said that. He loves it. He don't even punch it. He comes out and catches it. So I get why you're saying he's good because that was good for the way we played. But the save that Pickford did was good.
It was very good. And I mean, you can...
Was he? Those marks that they've got, they weren't that good. Bloody hell.
No, I didn't think they were that great attacking. They were probably as good defensively as we were. We didn't stretch them at any time. We couldn't break like they could break for their goal. No chance. But that's what happens when you spend however much you spend, and you have Mbeumo and Kuna and Sesko, and you've the 3 big buys in the summer, and they make a difference in key moments like this. We haven't got that. That's 60 not where we are yet. We're not there yet.
Yeah, 60 million on one, 60 million on Kuna, 60 million on Mbeumo. We had to spend 30 million on a striker because where we can spend 60 million. But let's face it, if we would have spent 60 million on a striker, it would have made us probably twice the team. No offense to Barry.
That's what they put as the highest rated from each side. So, I mean, a lot of people are going to moan about Tarkowski tonight in terms of his pace and sprinting against Sesko over 80 yards. I think apart from that, I thought Tarkowski played very well and worked really hard, to be fair. Same with one or two of the other lads, but it was just key moments and choosing the right thing at the right time, which generally we have not been good at, and we didn't do tonight.
That's another thing that I feel, though, that we miss sometimes is our sitting midfielder, if Tarkowski struggled. Say we had Branthwaite and Tarkowski. I still think we should have a fast centre-back. We shouldn't be playing with 2 slow. But say they counter-attack like they did. I think Branthwaite would have done better than Keane, to be fair, to close the first counter-attack down before it come across to Sesko, to stop that pass across to Sesko. But you'd love sometimes, because we know Tarkowski offers so much, you'd love a little defensive centre mid pull to sometimes cover Tarkowski's speed, do you know what I mean, when they attack, like just a run in.
Yeah, I mean, a little bit. I mean, like you say, it came the initial thing came from Garner Gay on the right-hand side, putting a duff cross in. So there's a centre mid out of position. Tarkovsky was so high up the pitch anyway because we just got it back from a set piece. So everyone was pretty much out of position. It was only Keane who you could argue was in the right position, but it doesn't matter when you've got 2 or 3 strikers running you down. And yeah, you could say that maybe you should have been more aware and everything, but as a collective, we didn't handle that situation at all. Well.
The problem was like we was dominating them that much. And I know it sounds mad saying dominating when they beat us, but we really was. We was on top just before they scored. Armstrong had his chance. We was getting the ball in their box a lot, but it just wasn't good domination. And you even no threat, and we looked completely comfortable and looked like we was on the verge of getting it to 1-0. You still have to be cautious that they could just counter-attack and get us, and they did. And I don't feel like we was ready for that, Paul, for the counter-attack. We had the warning, and you think to yourself, thank God, it run back on these counter-attacks to help defensive mid. He would have the speed to Paul to help him cover that, I think, because he is. I think we have to play James Garner in Ghana.
There's got to be more than James Garner who can cross anything too difficult. You know, every cross doesn't have to be on a sixpence. It just has to be a ball in the air in between the penalty spot and the 6-yard box.
If you're
doing it in training, or every player could do it. So why not in a game?
If you're playing James Garner right back to just keep crossing the ball, how does that make Iliman and Jai's game effective? If you're on the right wing and James Garner's looking to whip it in, then what use is Iliman and Jai if you're just whipping balls in the box? Doesn't really. Yeah. I think that's why Iliman and Jai has been struggling massively, because all we're doing is trying to put crosses into the box as soon as possible. And once the ball's in the air, Iliman and Jai is ineffective. And like I said, with these fullbacks, it needs to be an overlap 1-2. Try and overlap Iliman and Jai and 1-2 so you can get him like Mikalenko did the other game. Going back to that, where you get Iliman and Jai just in the box, running at one of the centre backs. That's where you need Iliman and Jai. You need someone overlapping Iliman and Jai, take their left back out of the game, get Iliman and Jai in the box. That's got to be your aim. Get him on the ball in the box. He'll either get a penalty and he'll be very dangerous. No one will want to touch him. But for me, when I'm looking at Iliman and Jai today, I'm seeing Garner and Iliman and Jai on the right-hand side, stepping on each other's toes, thinking, should I cross it in or should you cross it in?
Yeah.
And no one's doing nothing. And Iliman and Jai's game, if he's just whipping balls, and that's not his game. No. It's not what he's effective at. So we're getting things wrong. And when you do, like we're delving into it now, when you do look into it, it is quite bad, actually, and it does need changing.
Oh, it's really frustrating. I mean, especially when you think, you know, if you look back at goals like away at Fulham, Mikalenko doing a nice turn, but Mikalenko gets to the line, pulls it back in, you know, and you think about sort of a cross further, like alongside the 6-yard box when Barry scores against Leeds, you know, stuff like that. Why don't we get round the back? And that's old school. That's like 101 wing play, that. And we've got people in the area eventually. You've got to give them a chance to actually get to the ball. And at the moment, we are not pacey enough. We're not clever enough to be scoring when we're hitting teams on the break consistently. So when we're at home, especially, and they're defending a little bit deeper, you've got to create opportunities. And crossing it in from 30 yards out is not working. Is not working.
Emma says we spent 40 million on a bench. I am chucking your comments out. So if I haven't read them, but I'm pretty sure we're all looking at them and reading them. There's loads of comments. There is loads. And if I haven't read them, it's for that reason. I'm trying to put them on as quick as I can. But if I literally read through them all, would be all night, because we're so angry. We're writing essays, which I really appreciate. Keep putting your comments in. I'm putting them on so we can all just do quick reads. And I will read the odd one out, people. I'm not ignoring you. It is frustrating. I mean, no one... We say blue therapy. Don't think anyone's feeling any calm, and there's just frustration, Paul, in the house here. And I understand it.
Yeah.
And we feel the same, don't we? So it's frustrating for me, though, because we're throwing a Europa League chance away. Like, that's the most frustrating thing to me, is that I think when you look back, you'll say, did we even go for Europa League? Because I don't think we did. I think we got into Europa League position and tried to draw or nick a 1-0. I just wish we'd believe in ourselves and say, you know what? Let's take it to teams. Let's go for them. This Man United team, we beat them with frigging 10 men. Let's go at them. Let's test Yoro. Let's test Maguire. But I feel like we just gave them too much respect today, and we could have done well. And they'll go on now and have a good season, top end of the table, get top 4. And we've just bottled it, lost 3 points, and made it really hard for us to get Europa League now. So I know it seems miserable, but we have flopped a big chance, Paul. And we can't. I've said this loads of times. If you keep flopping these chances to be amongst Europa League, eventually it's going to drift away from us. I don't think it's far away now, because that wasn't good enough today.
No. I think as we sort of move on, you can see the lads who will stay, who will sort of be, well, you hope will stay, and you sort of build a team around them. So Pickford, Branthwaite, O'Brien to a point, James Garner, KDH, need a new striker, gotta be. I like George. I hope he continues to flourish. I hope we go for him as well. Depending on what happens with Grealish, I think Ndai, if we can keep him, fair dues. But as a collective at the moment, we're not very confident, and we're frustrated that when we get forward into attacking positions, we're making the wrong decisions and we're not scoring enough goals. That is our biggest thing, and has been for years. We do not score enough goals. We're not one of these. We're not one of these teams. We're not a Bournemouth. We're not a Brentford where they're going to be loads of passing football, and then most of our games are like 3-2, 2-1, 4-3, all that ridiculous stuff. It's not what our current manager and other managers we've had have worked, have gone for. And I know people are frustrated, and I mean, Tazul there saying we should never have got Moyes back. I don't agree with that. I think he came in at the right time, and I think that first game when we started, not the Villa one because it was literally a day, but after that we came from Dyche telling us that we were no good and we could only be in footballers again, and playing properly and being able to pass the ball and create than we were.
Do you know what frustrates
anyone me? Else? There's little tweaks that we've got to do to make what we're doing consistent.
What's so frustrating is that back he's got a mentality a lot better. He's got his play around the Europa League spot, which I know Liam you told me not to say, but he has got his round. Moyes has got things good, and what little things do me head in. Just the 2-0, 3-0. We're in a relegation battle, so Moyes hasn't got the best players yet. Moyes hasn't got but I look at other teams around us, and I think they've been invested in more, and they've had more backing than what Moyes has had. So I don't think I'm Moyes out yet. He is igging me like he is with a few of you lot in the comments. Trust me, I am getting frustrated with his little selections because I feel like he's doing so much right. He's got our players believing in themselves, playing well, got us passing the ball better. But just the selection things, I feel like he's doing himself. Do you feel like that?
Yeah, no, I can understand what you're saying. There's one or two people who are saying that the stream's buffering or keeps going off. We can't see it here, so apologies if that is happening.
It's Everton's fault.
Yeah, well, yeah, it is.
It's not even buffering. It's not even Barry. Good.
We're playing Barry and Gan. Okay. I mean, Rod's saying that sick of some channels trying to tell us we need to give certain players time when they're good enough, and I get that. I do understand that. I think what we can see is that a lot of these players have got potential, but for whatever reason, and whoever you blame, they're not showing it quite at the moment. There are some players that I don't think have got the potential to actually be what we or the club need them to be or want them to be, and that's going to be a summer thing because nothing's going to happen in terms of transfer market before summer now, is it? So if you think about one or two players that you think shouldn't be in the side, it's literally who should be coming in, but the squad is what we've got at the moment. So it's going to be interesting to see who we do have come September, say later on.
It's something that'll frustrate Emma. Emma's on about, she said, we spent 70 million on Dibble and Barry. Moyes in the last press conference, I don't know if people picked up on it. When he was asked about Diblin, he said he was thinking about in pre-season. That's what he said. He was asked about Diblin. He's like, yeah, he has come into my thoughts pre-season. I think it will really help him. So I don't think Moyes has got massive thoughts on Diblin starting or playing a lot. I think he's in his plans
No,
like pre-season, build him up for next season.
I
So
think
when
so.
people
Yeah.
are fuming with Diblin not playing, you
Well,
could
talk
end up
is
more.
rumor is that Moyes isn't very happy about his fitness or attitude or things like that, and it is rumor mill. It is rumor mill. I think it's people trying to find a reason why Diblin isn't playing. But if that is anywhere near clear or anywhere near truthful, then it will be pre-season. He'll get absolutely beasted in pre-season, and so you hope then that it comes to fruition next season. But we shall see. Really,
Man United fan says on the comments there, says, brother, you cleared one off the line, and Sesko missed another one on the counter attack while we had to play two strikers and go for it. Yeah, fair enough.
yeah,
You could have won 2-3. You had one corner all game. I thought we was both shocking, mate. You took your chances. We was rubbish. Played into your hands. Easy counter attack for you. There was Man U fans watching it with me, and they said they thought they were playing pretty crap. I thought we was playing pretty crap. You took your chances in the end. We gave you an easy goal. We shouldn't be letting you counter attack with fast players like that. But fair play to Man U. You won. Simple. I can't make you. You won.
did.
Well done. Well done. You won. You got the 3 points. You didn't bottle it. You created better chances than us. I feel like we got in Man United's half enough to have created good chances. We didn't. I feel like we played into their hands, Paul. I really do. I mean, when you think about it,
Yeah,
we're trying to create a chance, and Man United have got the players behind the ball defending well. Man United try and create a chance, and we've got all the players up the pitch, play into their hands, and let them have an easy counter attack. What are we doing? Why are we making it so easy for them? I don't know.
yeah.
It's frustrating like that.
Well, Andrew from the Man U chat last night, he was sort of he was kind of confident, but he was a little bit apprehensive as well. In the end, I think it was who you had up front makes the difference, and it's whether you think we should have bought someone else or things like that. Then it doesn't matter. It's whoever's on the pitch at the time. So it's yeah. I mean, he says about if we'd had Grealish, probably a different game. Could have been, but we still need to create the chances, and that's the.
Got to move on from him now, isn't it? That's the thing. Our season isn't finished because Grealish is out. We need to be
Yeah.
something else without him now. We need to build ourselves up to still be good with Grealish. He's a massive loss, and I don't think that we've got another player that's like Grealish other than Illiman and Giant. But we've got to start playing George or whoever on the left and be good in a different way, like fast, speedy, take players on. We haven't got Grealish. Grealish hold-up players that's sensational, and his assists are sensational, but we've got to find a different way now, a different way to be good, because we do miss that Grealish way. But George looked good today down that left. He did. And as you said, Paul, earlier on, it was a positive because there was a couple of times George got the ball and he really, a player's good when they end up one-on-one and they just say, right, I'm better than you, let's go past you. And he did that a couple of times today where he just said, I back myself to be better than you and go past you.
Yeah.
Normally our players don't even try that. Our wingers don't even try to go past the player because they know they can't. But George, he's obviously got something.
Fair of failure.
To take him on, yeah.
Fair of failure again. But the thing is, I mean, you sort of, I want to show the current league table, right? And it's not to piss anyone off, but it's just to sort of show where we are currently, and sort of highlight the situation in that we're on 37 points. Forest. Well, actually, West Ham who are 18th. Can't quite see the. There we go. So, I mean, we are 12 points. I don't see as no. We're not going to get dragged into any nonsense down there. Whether people see us getting, Europe or higher and things like that, fair enough. If we do, we do. If we don't, it's not going to be. It's not going to be the worst thing in the world. It would be great if we did, but it's not the worst thing in the world. So we've got an opportunity there to flourish a little bit, to try these lads, to whether it be Diblin or whether it be George or whether it be Alcaraz or whoever it be, there shouldn't be a fear of failure with our
No, they're gonna have
last
to.
11 games. There should be a freedom. There should be a
That's what's
freedom.
frustrating, Paul, is that I feel like we've lost 2 games now. When we will look back and we feel like we should have gone for it. Like we're in a position, like you've just said. Now we're still now in a position where we could go for it because we look like we're comfortably mid-table. So we should have done it 2 games ago as well. Just like gone for it. And if you lose, you lose, because we did lose. So we lost. That's what's frustrating. Like we lost. And you think to yourself, well, we lost anyway. We should have actually have gone for it and took it to them. Same outcome would have happened.
Yeah. No, I agree. And the thing is, all the other teams around us are thinking the same thing. You go down probably to Brighton. Brighton 14, 34 points. 3 points behind us at a goal difference, by the way. And you get there to Brentford. Brentford's probably the top of that now sort of mini league. You've got that top 6. There's a 5-point gap between Brentford and Liverpool. Brentford lost their last game, which you would have expected them to have done a lot better in. So they'll be kicking themselves. Bournemouth are on a nice little run at the moment, but a little while ago, they would have been kicking themselves. We are Fulham, lose 3 in a row, won their last game. Newcastle lost the last 3 in a row. Sunderland, bloody hell, Sunderland are just happy to be in the league. They were at 3rd. I think they were 3rd in bloody September. No one is playing at their potential apart from potentially, well, up to a point, Man United and Chelsea, maybe. Everyone is culpable to and able to back it up completely. And I'm not saying that we're going to go on a run of a few wins and suddenly make it into top 7, but everyone's still really close. So play with the freedom, and let's try and get our football, good again and enjoyable again, and actually start giving the Bramley Moor, the Hill Dickinson crowd, our new stadium, actually some football that we can be proud of and we can enjoy and we can come on and we can talk about and be happy about, instead of, oh God, we just hit a wall again and we can't do this and we can't do that. They should be playing with the freedom. They've got the opportunity to, and an opportunity that we've not had for years, because we would be thinking we'd be where Forest are now, or where Spurs are now, or even worse than that, where West Ham are now. So they've got an opportunity to play each game as though they're playing with their mates on the park and actually give it their best, especially the lads who have come in, especially the attacking players. Give it a go. Try something different. Make people remember you.
What I feel like's happened, Paul, and I don't know whether you lot agree, and I'll just jump on a comment that Emma said in a minute as well. We are coming to an end now as well, people. We will let you go and get your sleep. But what I feel like is happening with us is we've played free and done what you've said, Paul, just had a go and won games, just played attacking. But then when we've started to get good and won a couple of games, we've got near that Europa League spot and we've got something to try and get. And it's been like a cup game. It feels like we've flopped it the next game. Every time we've got near Europa League and had something to play for, it feels like we've been defensive about it and tried to just get a draw, nick it. And we've not been played with freedom once we've got around Europa League. So it feels like that's what it feels like. Once we've got something to play for, once we say we've got to get, because we'll win. We'll lose a chance for Europa League. This will probably happen now. I hope it does happen as well. We've just lost now 2 games when we had a really good chance to be in that Europa League mix, yeah? And now we're not in the mix. We'll go and win the next 2 games. We'll be back in the mix. And the moment we're in the mix, what we'll do is we'll know we're in the mix and we'll bottle it again and be crap for 2 games, because that's our mentality, is that when the pressure's on and we start to think about stuff, we build it up too much and we flop the games. And I think that it does make sense. Do you get where I'm coming from? It makes sense in the head that we've done that so many times, is that when we've been mid-table, it doesn't massively matter whether we win or lose because we're not at Europa League spot yet, we keep winning. We get near Europa League, and these players start to say, "Oh, we're thinking about it." They build it up too much, and they flop it. And the comment that I said I was going to jump on is Emma's, because she said, "You know what? I'm not always out early on." She goes, "I could accept us being in this position in the table because it does look good." She said, "I could accept that, but what frustrates her the most, and I get this, what Emma said, is that all of our fans who got 52,000 at the new stadium, and they keep going there. 52,000 people are going home with a loss, and it doesn't feel good." So that's the most frustrating thing, is that we are having a half decent season, but losing that home isn't nice for the fans. I don't think that's what's frustrating. The fans want a bit of these away wins. Go home happy.
Yeah, and if you do go the away games, fair play to you, because that's a much harder chore, I think. Well,
that's the good part.
Usually because of travel and everything else. But yeah, if you're going, if you like Emma, you like Danny, and like everyone else, going to games, particularly the run of kickoff times and the nights rather than. I mean, we haven't got a 3 o'clock on a Saturday for bloody ages. You know, it's hard work. So I do hope that we change our fortunes just for you guys, to be honest. But I do hope that as Wormy says, at least you get to see the away wins, though. You know, so it's frustrating. It's really frustrating.
Build it, because going to a game's massive. You put your top on, you get ready, you build yourself up, you get all excited, you build yourself up for the you really do build yourself up for it, and then all of a sudden you lose, and you do go home frustrated, and it ruins your night. And it's happened a lot at home. It has happened a lot, and it's. I don't know what the reason is. I really don't. It will change though. I do believe it will change.
Yeah.
As they say,
eventually.
A house isn't a home. A house isn't a home straight away, is it? So
no. So I
don't think it's the stadium. I really don't think it's the stadium. I think that we for some reason, when we play at home, we play shy football. When we play away, the players play with more freedom, and it feels like it's a reverse as well. When we play away, Paul, over the teams that we play away struggle as well, like at home.
I got to tell you though, I do agree with El Tel here. There are companies who are either buy or are given a section of a stand, however small or big, and then they sell those tickets on in a different kind of way to what the club do, and it is frustrating to see like a gap of seats that could easily go to fans who would take them, because I know that they are expensive. So I do hope that is kind of addressed,
eliminated. Yeah,
I do hope that's addressed, because that can be that's not great at all. But I do think there's a little bit of both. There's a little bit of there's a lot of the players and the team giving us something to cheer about. And we will continue to do what we generally do, and and drag their ass across 90 minutes, and hopefully to 3 points. But you've got to give us something. You really got to give us something.
And you'll be in the Mersey by the derby, Dan. Well, you know, it's probably. I do hope that we can win a game at home, Paul, before I go to that derby, because that's quite far away, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? So
I know.
Look at the games we've got there. We do need to break that home curse. Although, what is it, Brighton away?
No, so this is an old one, but we've obviously we draw against Brighton, we beat Fulham, the defeat against Bournemouth, the defeat against Man U. We've got Newcastle away next. We then have a home game against Burnley. That's at 7:30. Is that a Tuesday? I think. Arsenal away then on a 2 o'clock. That must be a Sunday. Followed by Chelsea at home. That's a Saturday night, 5:30. I mean, there's some tricky ones. There are some tricky ones, to be honest.
Do you know what though? All jokes aside, I know we're all
team's going to turn up. Do you? Don't know what team's going to turn up.
this is maybe the therapy, people. This is maybe the therapy, and this is the way we'll probably finish positive now. Is that although shocking against Man United, I do believe we'll go to Newcastle and play well there. We normally do, So the next game's massive. With 10 men, we played well against them. But if we can go win away at Newcastle, surely Burnley could be the break of the curse at home. And I don't want to curse that either because they was quite good last time we played them. But then, obviously, Arsenal. We've got nice, easy games after that. Arsenal, Chelsea.
That's us all over, though, isn't it? That is us all over.
We'll win that.
We win away at Fulham. We get a point away at Brighton, lose at home against Bournemouth. I would still, even though it's Man U, I'd expect us to fight hard and get something that we should have got tonight. It's like us to beat Newcastle and then not get what we want against Burnley. Arsenal's going to be tough, always is. But I expect us to beat Chelsea. Isn't that weird? I do think that we're going to beat Chelsea, but Brentford away, I don't know. We don't know who's going to turn up or what teams are going to be picked. So it's a roller coaster anyway.
For me at the minute, though, the way we've just broken down the game, for me personally, I'm not worried about any of the teams that I'm coming up against. I'm more thinking to myself, we need to find our own identity and know who we are. That's what I'm thinking. If Moyes has got some good players there, if he can find a good combination and get them playing right, I think we can match anyone when we come up against them. And we ain't clicking at the minute. The jigsaw's not been matched, and I do feel it's there. And I hope Moyes gets the combination quick. So I feel like if he gets a good 11, Paul, that's right, we could start stacking a few wins together. I really do. I think Moyes just needs to hit that right combo on the 11.
Yeah, I do. And I mean, Rod's asking about if Moyes loses 5 in a row. To lose 5 in a row, I mean, we'd normally get a draw in there somewhere. So,
we'll do the opposite. Like, do you know where the guy, if Man U win 5 in a row, we'll be like, if we lose 5 in a row.
Are you saying, Dan, you're not going to cut your hair till we win 5 in a row?
If I will mark my words here, right? I am not joking, right? If this is true as well, when do we play the derby? Is that in 5 games there, Paul? How many games is the derby?
I'll get rid of that. It's it's not a 3 o'clock kickoff, is it? That's changed by now.
Right, mark my words and listen to this, right? If we don't win a game before we get to the derby, I'll run on the pitch in a mankini when we have the derby. I'll go to the derby and I'll run on the pitch, or maybe just in my shorts. You know what I mean? But I'm telling you, I'm that confident, Paul. I'm that confident. That's me thing. If we haven't won a game by then I'll run on the pitch, derby, and you'll see me with my I'll have a unicorn outfit on just for jokes. I'll run on the pitch. But that's how confident I am, by the way. I'm not just saying that. I generally do think that we will win a game. Like, we've not been that bad this season. We come up against Brentford when they were playing. Who was it we come up against playing well with unbeaten, and then we beat them. So we can beat teams.
Yeah. Well, we can. We can. It was nice knowing you, everybody.
Dan, I need to manscape, Dan. I could tell you that. Well, I know. I didn't know what challenge to give you. Do you know where Radiant jumped in the water? I just thought, like, what can I do? We'll win. We'll win a game before the derby. I'm telling you that 100%. Newcastle, Burnley, Arsenal, Chelsea, and Brentford. You're telling me we can't pick up one win there? No chance, mate. No chance. I fancy us Brentford. Weirdly, I fancy us Chelsea. Arsenal will be hard. Burnley, I really do think we can beat Burnley. And Newcastle away, I fancy us as well. But yeah, who knows? It's Everton, isn't it? Maybe it's destiny for me to run on the pitch and get
Frosty says, shades of that old fella ran on the pitch in 66 Cup final. First one in the comments, what was his name? Come on, someone will know it. I know it, but see if you know it.
Version.
See if you know
What's his name? I was in the comments.
I want to see if someone will know. I want to see who gets it first. I bet Paul's it. If Paul's
do you know what?
Paul's isn't in. So I don't know.
I'm not even joking, right? Before me and Paul come on the show, because we speak to each other before we come on, because we go in, like, before we go live, we go in a little room where we have a chat, what we're going to say and stuff on the show. And we're both really peed off before we've come live tonight. We're both really angry. And I am really angry. When I come off this, I'll still be angry. But whilst I am on the show speaking to you lot, it doesn't make me feel less stressed. You know what I mean? We have got a lot of good people in the comments. I'm not saying that to be cheesy or deep, but generally, we can't help but chat to each other and take our mind off things. You know what I mean? So we'll be okay. The problem shared thing is true, because chatting to you lot has made me feel a little bit better, although I'm still peed off. There you go.
Well done, Danny.
Danny.
Yeah,
well done,
Eddie Kavanagh. Yeah,
I might have to tie myself to a goalpost with oil top on. You never know. Awesome. We are going to win. We are going to win. That is the end of the show, people. That is the end of the show. Loved you all in the comments. I hated the game, by the way. I did. And I will wake up even more peed off tomorrow, because that's what happens. We care so much. But, you know what I mean? We're going to be back. We're here together. We'll be back. We'll build ourselves up. We always do. I've never known you lot not build yourself up in a pre-match with us. We'll build ourselves up. We'll win a couple of games now, because we'll just, it's an Everton thing. We now think, you know what, Europa League's gone, and we'll probably end up winning next game against Newcastle away. Newcastle away would be a good win as well, wouldn't it, Paul? That'd be beat Gordon away.
That'd be nice. That'd be nice.
Yeah, we'll do it.
That'd be cool.
We'll do it. Up the top is everyone. Have a boss night.
Be back to normal then, won't we? We'll be back to normal.
People forget we're like Dora. We're like Everton fans are like Dora the fish. We just literally, you can look back, all these rants now in the comments of people so angry, Moyes out and stuff. We go and beat Newcastle 3-1, and then we're like, we're unbeatable. We're the best team in the world. Let's try and win 2 in a row. Europa League's back on. That's how it works, people. You know what I mean? Well, that's what we do. We overreact, and then when we win, we celebrate. We'll win. We will, I promise. Up the top is everyone. Have a boss night. We did come live and face the music. Me and Paul did. And good to have you back on as well, Paul, to be fair. I didn't realise how much you do when I had to completely host it myself the other time. People was telling me off, saying, the show's, Paul does a lot more stuff on the show. You know what I mean? He is the stat man, people. He is the stat man.
To be back.
Up the top is, and hopefully we'll have a good game next game. Have a good night, everyone. And don't let it get to you. We're here for you if it does. Pre-match next show.